Excuse me, pardon me, sorry. Can you move your leg? Thank you. Alright, cool. Alright, get ready. What is this? Stop! Okay, so I've gone over the top 5 of 2018. Now we're going to talk about the worst 5. Okay, so in order to be qualified for my worst 5 of 2018, I have some rules. Rule number 1, the movie must have come out in 2018. Duh. The movie was either bad technically in its writing or acting, or overall it was just disappointing in what I thought it would have been and what was delivered to me. So, let's get into it. I have 2 dishonorable mentions for this list. Dishonorable mention number 1, Watson and Holmes. So, I broke my rule from the last list. I said I need to have watched this movie in 2018 for it to qualify. I was going to watch this movie. When I saw the preview for this movie, I wanted to see this movie. But the movie has like 6% on Rotten Tomatoes as the making of this video. It's bombed at the box office. There are reports of people walking out of the movie theater. Netflix declined to buy this movie in order to be put on the streaming service. The same streaming service that brought you Cloverfield Paradox and other straight-to-DVD movies refused to buy this movie. So, instead of wasting my time, instead of wasting your time, I'm putting this as a dishonorable mention, but because I didn't see it, Kat put it as worst 5. Dishonorable mention number 2. Insidious: The Last Key is the 4th movie in the franchise, and it shows. It was better than the 3rd one, maybe, but overall, it just wasn't a good movie. I've heard people say, oh, for the 4th movie in a franchise, it's good. This movie sucked. And I wanted it to be good because I liked the franchise. I liked Insidious 1, I liked Insidious 2. I like what James Wan brought to the franchise, and especially in the first one, the old-fashioned horror meets new-fashioned horror, and the visuals and the music and the tone almost, Hitchcockian in nature in the first one. But it didn't suck enough to be on the top 5, or worst 5, however you want to look at it. Alright, let's go into the actual worst 5. Number 5 is The Nun. The Nun wasn't terrible, but it was very disappointing and bad, making it number 5. The Nun is based around the character of a demon / ghost, however you want to look at it, that first appeared in The Conjuring 2. I would say and argue that the nun character that was in The Conjuring 2 is probably the scariest part of the movie. There's other things going on in that movie itself, but as to say what was scariest, it was The Nun. So when I heard they were releasing a movie, I had mixed feelings. I thought, maybe this is going to be good, but, Annabelle, the second one came out, that one was okay. Building movies in a shared universe, a shared Conjuring universe, is a mixed bag. And I would put this in the bad column. It could have been a lot better with what it was given. The little bit of screen time that the nun character had in The Conjuring 2 were the scariest of that movie. So if you just take that character, make a semi-good movie with a semi-good story, it would have been a good movie. It takes place in Romania, old Romania. This movie could have been so much better, and it sucked. Even the parts when the nun was in the movie, it was jump scares, crappy character development, and then they somehow squeeze it to retrofit how it's squeezed into The Conjuring 1, changing the face of another actor. It didn't work, and it could have been a lot better. That's number 5. If you've seen my top 5 video, you will know that I did not include a Star Wars movie in that list. And that's because it's on here. Solo, a Star Wars story, is number 4. When this movie was first announced, it was supposed to be a Solo against Boba Fett movie, and then it changed, and then they got a few directors to do it, and it was going to be Phil Lord and Chris Miller directing, and I thought, okay, this is going to be really cool. Even if there's not a lot of story to navigate or talk about, it's still Han Solo. You would assume Chewbacca, and then Boba Fett. I don't know what they were doing. When they changed directors, it was a difference of opinion, but basically they filmed the movie 3/4 of the way through, changed directors, got Ron Howard on, and don't know what happened from there. Which sucks because you look at the cast, you see Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, you see Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, you see Woody Harrelson, and you think, okay, this is a cast that could put something together. And I don't know if they made it worse or better or however it went down, but it just was not a good movie. And it was supposed to be a good movie, or it could have been a good movie. So because the hype was up here and the movie was down here, the disappointment factor is what put this in the top 5 of worst movies at number 4. Following the trend of disappointing, I'm going to throw in number 3 in here. Number 3 is AntMan and the Wasp. Come at me. There's a lot of people putting this in the good movie category, and I'm not sure why. Following AntMan 1, it was a departure from movies like Captain America Winter Soldier and Thor the Dark World, where they were kind of like a dark, gritty, almost superhero film, and this AntMan 1 kind of departed from that. It was a funny adventure. They clearly set it up for Ant-Man and the Wasp in this one, and I think it failed. They made Ant-Man kind of the butt of a lot of jokes when he was supposed to be like a master thief in the first one, and they made him seem like kind of clueless as to what his role was. The Wasp character is the focal point of this movie, and that's fine, but you can create a character or bring a character in like the Wasp to be larger than life and heroic without belittling your secondary character, which is Ant-Man. And just the plot holes, unexplained connections. Michelle Pfeiffer somehow is in this movie as something, and somehow they're related, and it just gets jumbled, and it's not good, and it could have been good, and that's why it's number 4. Sorry, number 3. Number 2. The Predator. I had very, very, very high hopes for The Predator. Shane Black, which was also a member of the cast in the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, was going to be the director of The Predator. They got an R rating to show all the blood and gore that you please. And somehow they just messed it all up. The Predator could have been so much better. And there were reports that this movie was screened ahead of time and that audiences did not like it, and they had negative reviews and negative impressions of it, so they went back and shot the second half of it all over again. Honestly, I don't know how much better they thought this second shooting was because it wasn't any good. I wanted it to be good. There were moments where it's just like callbacks to the original one and callbacks to Alien vs. Predator where it's just like, oh, that's cool. And there weren't moments in it. When you have a cast like Boyd Holbrook, Keegan-Michael Key, Sterling K. Brown, you just expect it to be good. The good parts of this movie were the humorous parts. And there's like a big predator and a small predator, and the ending doesn't really make any sense. And at the end, you see characters that are dead, and you're like, wait, this person's dead? Because they don't explain it. They don't show it very well. Like, main characters throughout the film that you're supposed to care about or hate or just have an investment in, you don't even know where they're at in the movie. And this was a movie like I grew up with my brother watching the original one. It could have been so much better, and it's disappointing, and that's why it's number 2. Number 1. Number 1 is Slender Man. It's not a good movie. First off, this movie should have been done like 7-8 years ago. Based off of a wikipasta, creepypasta story, urban legend about a man that basically brainwashes kids and they disappear to the woods. He has no face, he's very long, he has a suit. It could have been good. Even being done in 2018, it could have been done. Even though it was past the point of interest, it could have been good. And it's just not. It was a waste of 2 hours. There are very little parts in which I was scared. I get startled easily. And yeah, the jump scares will get you, but that's about all there is. The story's jumbled, and it just wasn't good. And I wish it was, but it wasn't. And that's why it's number 1. Alright, fellow Phantoms, if there was a movie on here that you liked and think it should have been on here, or if there was a movie that you hated that I didn't put on my worst 5, go ahead and leave those below. Again, this is based off of opinion, so maybe we differ in opinion. Or maybe you're just wrong. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys liked this video. If you are not subscribed to me, go ahead and press subscribe. hit that bell so that you can be notified when I post up a new video. If you have any movies that you want me to review, go ahead and leave those in the comments below and I'll do my best to put that out. But anyways, fellow phantoms, I will see you guys in the next video. Later. Seriously though, like the Predator could have been so good. Just saying.